All right, let's do some Mathity-Math. So the question tells us, it says, I want you to find x if this vector is parallel to this vector. And these are column vectors. Okay, so this column vector right here, this is a column vector. This is saying this is my x action and this is my y action. And it's saying it would be parallel to this one. This is the xy also. And it's important to think about this, that, vectors are lines, and lines have slope. And if lines or vectors are parallel, that means they would have the same slope, okay? Now, one point of confusion that typically happens here is that slope is typically written, not typically, slope is written where the y, or the rise, is over the run, or the x. The horizontal is under the vertical, right? That's why they say rise over run. But if you look here, it is inverse. So we do want to be careful when we write this stuff out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just write these in slope form with the y on top, and I'm going to write them as fractions. So this would give me the slope of these vectors. So if I do this one, the y is on top, so I'm just going to say 7x, okie dokie. And this one I'm going to say x plus 2. So now I'm just looking at their slopes, right? And we know these slopes should be the same because they are parallel. So this slope right here, I'm just going to write 3 over 5. And again, I just took the y and I put it over the x, 3 over 5. So now we have two slopes, and they told us they are parallel, which means they are the same. Great. So at this point now, all we have to do is solve for x. The way we solve for x here, one step we could do is, because we have a fraction equal to a fraction, we are allowed to cross multiply. So what we do here is we take 7x and we multiply it by 5. That's going to look like this, 7x times 5. That's that. And that will be equal to x plus 2 times 3, or 3 times x plus 2. So far, so good. Now we just do this math. 7x times 5 is 35x. And this is equal to, now here we just have to distribute. So the 3 distributes to the x, and the 3 distributes to the 2. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. Great. So what we've done here now is we've just moved this all into a linear equation. It's just a linear equation where we need to combine like terms. So to combine these like terms, I like to try to keep my x's on the left if we can. So I'm just going to subtract 3x from both sides. That's going to get rid of the x over here, and then I can subtract 3 from here because we're balancing that equation, just doing good old-fashioned algebra. And that gives me 32x is 6. All right. The next step is to really try and focus on getting this x all by itself. So what this says here is 32 multiplied by x. The opposite of multiplying by 32 is dividing by 32. So now we're cooking. And this tells us that my x value is 6 over 32. Good job. That's wonderful. We did the work. Now, we do probably want to simplify this answer. Because they're both even, you can just take out a 2. So this would also be equal to 3 over 16. And that is as low as it can go. And so here is my answer. Now, before we wrap this video up, I do want you guys to all think about that you could very quickly check this answer and make sure you did it right. And you can do that by substituting your 3/16 back in and making sure that your slopes are the same. So I'm just going to draw this little wavy line here. I'm just going to check my work over here and make sure I did it right. So if I plug 3/16 back in over here, I'm going to get the column vector 3/16 plus 2 and 7 times 3/16. Now I do need to do some math here to kind of figure out what these numbers are going to be. So up here, 3/16 plus 2, I cannot add these. This 2 needs to move into an improper fraction. So if you think about 2, I'll just draw a little work up here. 2 is the same as saying 1 plus 1. And if we're going to move 1s in the 16ths, that's like saying 16 over 16 plus 16 over 16. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 16 over 16 plus 16 over 16 is 32 sixteenths, which is the same as 2. And then we're adding this right here, which is 3 sixteenths. So 16 plus 16 is 32, plus 3 is 35. So we know that this top part is going to be 35 over 16. Okay, don't be afraid, don't be scared, we're doing great. For this one, it's just multiplying. We just take this number and multiply it by the numerator. And if I could clarify this too, just to make sure we understand why, 7 times 3 over 16 is the same as 7 over 1 times 3 over 16, and you multiply the top by the top, or the numerator by the numerator, and the denominator by the denominator, or bottom times bottom, and you get 21 over 16. So if we plug our x value in, we get 21 over 16 for the y part. Now, at this point, you might be saying, why did we do all that? That's so much work. Okay, chill out. Let me explain. We said earlier that if they're parallel, the slopes would be the same. So if I wrote this in slope form, my y's on top, I would have 21 over 16 over, 35 over 16. And again, I know you're feeling like this is not where you want to be with your life. It looks scary, fractions on top of fractions. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Watch. You bust out your handy-dandy calculator. And you just plug this in. Parenthesis. 21 divided by 16. Close your parenthesis. Divide that by, open your parenthesis, 35 over 16. Okay? If you hit enter, you're going to find out that this is 0.6. Okay, so we know that this one over here, its slope was 0.6 in decimal form. So now just check your other one, which was 3 over 5. 3 over 5, and just do that in your calculator. 3 over 5, 0.6. Voila! You've just proven your slopes are the same, therefore, you know that this x value you found was correct and your answer is good. That is the beauty of algebra. You can almost always check your answer. All right. If you want to get notified when I make more practice problems just for you, please subscribe below. And if you have any questions, comments, you want to tell me how wonderful my handwriting is, leave a comment below. Or if you want a special problem, I'll try my best to make it for you. Okie dokie. Thank you. Bye.